Okay, so this week's parasha, we have the command of the Nero Samarocha, to light the menorah, right? So after Moshe Rabbeinu, right, instructs Aaron of how to do it, says, Vayas Kain Aaron, Kasher Tzivash Moshe, right? Aaron did exactly as Moshe Rabbeinu commanded. Right, so says Rashi, Lagit Shvachol Shel Aaron Shaloshina, to praise Aaron. He didn't do anything different. You know, he did exactly what he was told. Of course, he's an Orthodox Jew. it's like Lahagit Shvachol Shel Aaron Shaloshina, right? Telling us praise. They didn't do anything different. Of course, every Orthodox Jew should do the mitzvahs exactly as commanded. Okay? So to understand this, the midrashim this week's parsha, just pop open any Medrash Rabbah, for like 4 or 5, maybe even 10 midrashim, first 10 midrashim, in all different styles, are talking about, they're fascinated that we light the menorah for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu could see in the dark, and he's the one who created the light, and here we are, giving light to he who created all light. There's like many different styles that the Medrash deals with it. It's like the Medrash is fascinated, and the Medrash says it all on the word Bhaaloscha. Because that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was, why didn't it say Hadikcha? Why Bhaaloscha? Right? That HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us the honor of lighting the menorah for him, that Am Yisrael is Meir, Lemi Shemeir La'olam Kula. We give light to he who gives light to the whole world. Right? So it's an aliyah for us. It's an honor for us that we give light to he who gives light to the whole world. So there's, like I said, there's many different midrashim on this. I want to quote one of them, which I want to go back to, amongst the many different, like it gives like many different metaphors. Where the question is what the whole fascination is. But one of them is like this: a sighted man was leading a blind man. It's his aid. Leading him, through the streets. And escorts him and helps him around the house. And then he brings him to home, and he says, "Okay, now I want you to do something for me." He puts in his hand a candle and a match. I want you to light this candle for me. So. I should light a candle for you. You're my eyes. You're the one, Well, no, I want you to feel good about yourself that you did something for me also. So also HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the sighted one, and we're the blind people, and brings psukim to the Am Yisrael is called blind, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu could see, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells us to light the menorah for him, that we should feel good about ourselves. Right? But here's the question: you could say it by any mitzvah. What mitzvah can't you say about it? And as a matter of fact, there is a different medrash in a whole different place. A medrash in Tehillim on the pasuk Migdi Mani Vashem, whoever came before me that I pay. Meaning, no one ever did Pidyon Haben before I gave him a kid. No one ever did Tzitzis before I gave him a garment to wear. No one ever did Makeh before I gave him a house, etc., etc., etc. So that medrash over there, elsewhere, talks about that. It's by all mitzvahs that way. Whoever brought a korban, if Hashem didn't give you the animal for, so you could be makriv. So why is the medrash in this week's parsha fascinated? Fascinated that we light the menorah for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's any mitzvah that we do. We give him tzitzis. He gave us the garment. He gave us the tzitzis strings. Right? It's by any mitzvah. So why is menorah different? That the medrash is like more fascinated that we do the menorah for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Right? So here's a question, right? If you're gonna hear builds, anyone here builds? Builds like houses. Anyone? No, in the business.
Just mentally.
All right. If you build a house, when are you going to turn on the lights in the house that you're building? It's not a trick question.
When the foundation's ready.
Right. When it's done, it's probably the last thing you do. It's the last thing you do, right? The house is built, then you connect it to the electric company, and then. You turn on the lights, it's like the last thing. So why is it that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, the first thing he created was light? There's nothing to see. There's nothing to see. It was like mamish nothing. Right? Creation should be creating the light after there's something to see at least. The first thing he created was light. What's the message in that? And so my Rebbe, Moshe Shapiro, Zechron Livracha, taught us, and it's based on a maral. Like, how do you define existence? What is to exist? The definition of existence is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to show you. That's what it tries to say, existence. Right? If HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't show it to you, then as far as you're concerned, it doesn't exist. It's the whole inyan that we're supposed to be observers observers of what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show us. Everything that, is supposed to, like the Lashon Chazal, for instance, as an example, you're going to pay din v'cheshbon on everything that your eyes saw and you didn't partake in. Yeah, of course, partaking in the shape Shemayim. So it's not. Don't go overboard on that Yerushalmi, but whatever. It's but it's that's right. Chazal say suma chashuv kames. A guy who's blind is considered to be dead. Well, that's a very cruel thing to say. By the way, suma is a bardas. A cherish is not a bardas, but he's not considered kames. The suma is chashuv kames. No. So the pshat is like this because he's out of reality. Because reality is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to show you. And that's why the first thing created was light. Because light is the ability to see, because that's the yesod of reality. So the suma who can't see is choshev kames. Right? Now, of course, you have to see it God's way. Right? He wants you to see it His way, and that's why Torah is called light. Kiner mitzvah v'Torah or Torah, and we say it's actually what do we say in Dari? V'ha'er einenu b'sarasecha. Right? Enlighten our eyes with your Torah. And the Torah is supposed to give us a perspective. We should see the world the way the Rebbe wanted to show it to us. See it with His light. And unfortunately, the light of the world, as it is, it's through the media, the fake news, right? We're okay. We can say fake news here, right? That's not the correct perspective. That's what we daven lost level or chadash al tzion toyer v'nizke kulanu mer la'oro. The lost level, like the Torah will be like the natural light of the world, and everyone will see things the way the Rebbe wants it to be seen, and we'll have the Torah perspective on everything. And that's the whole creation is what HaKadosh wanted to show us. We need the light of the Torah to see it in that light, as we say. Right? So with that in mind, you can understand what's amazing, what the Medrash is blown away by. We make light. Because light is reality itself. Right? You should want to see things by Hashem's light. Right? And here we are, we're making light. That means we put a perspective on reality. Right? And that's really the miracle of Torah Shebaal Peh. That Torah Shebaal Peh, which is in our hands, we're kovea. We're kovea. And we can even say lo b'shamayim. Rabbi Yeshua argued with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with the Baskol, that defended Rabbi Elazar ben Hurkanus. Lo b'shamayim, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu laughs. Nitzchuni banai, you beat me. And that's the light of Torah Shebaal Peh. And that's, the Chazal tell us. Ki ner mitzvah v'Torah or. Ner mitzvah, candlelight, which is the light we make, is Torah Shebaal Peh. The Torah or, whereas natural light, that's Torah Shebechsav. No, we don't play with the text. Right? The Torah Shebechsav, Hashem wrote it, and we leave it the way it is. And Torah Shebaal Peh, that's the candle that we light. And what the Neros HaMa'arocha symbolize, is an amazing thing. HaKadosh will put perspective of reality in our hands, and He's going to go along with it. It's mamash connected to the aura of Torah Shebaal Peh, and which goes, so natural light, which is the light of Torah Shebechsav, which is where originally Torah came from, goes heaven downwards, like the sun in heaven, shines down on us, top down. Torah originally came from Shemayim to Aretz, and Torah Shebechsav remains that way. HaKadosh was speaking to us through the letters in the books, and we're not going to touch any of that. We're not going to change any of that. Torah Shebaal Peh, bottom up. We sit, we learn, and we're mechadish, and we're paskin. Right, and it goes bottom. It's Bhaaloscha. It goes bottom up. Right, that's what the pasuk is about. Emes me'eretz titzmach. Emes is coming up from the earth. It's coming up. It's Bhaaloscha, and that's what the Medrash finds amazing. Right, that that the Indian of what the Neros HaMa'arocha is. HaKadosh Hu says, I'm entrusting the light of Torah to you, and you're going to be kovei reality. And the way Am Yisrael paskins, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has to be manig the world that way. It's an amazing thing. It's frightening. The way Bezdin Shomata Paskins, the Chavas Yair speaks about this in a tshuva. He just can't get his head around it, right? That he says that talking kabbalistically. We're taught al pi Kabbalah. You do mitzvahs, you fix the world. Matter of fact, we were just talking about this today. You do an avera, you ruin the world, you corrupt the world. So he asked the question like this, says the Chavas Yair. You have Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, right? which everyone knows that Baskel Kriyat said, Eil Ve'el Direl Kim Chaim. They have a machlokas about Tzoras Erva. Right, man dies without kids, and he has 2 wives, right? Now, one of his wives is Osir on the Yavam, right? So the Yavam can't marry, it's a Chi of Koris, right? But he has another wife. He has 2 wives that, the other one's also, he had no kids from either of them. The Tzora, the co-wife, could marry the Yavam or not. It's a machlokas Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai matir na tzoros la'achim. Beis Shammai says that co-wife could marry and we don't paskin, we paskin like Beis Hillel, just like the Erva's Petura. So also all the co-wives are potter, and therefore, if that woman would marry the Yavam, it's a chi of koris of Eishes Ach Shelo b'makom mitzvah. Because you're only allowed, your brother's wife generally is chi of koris. Yibum overrides it, but if there's no chi of Yibum, it goes back to being an Eishes Ach Shelo b'makom mitzvah. So he says like this, so it says the Chavos Yaris, he just exclaims his amazement. He doesn't have an answer. He exclaims his amazement, right? Like, how can you say Eil Ve'el Direl Kim Chaim? How is the universe wired up? According to Beis Hillel, if you marry that Tzaras Erva, you did a terrible Chi of Koris, and that's a big gam in your lamas, right? According to Beis Shammai, if you married Tzaras Erva, you did the amazing mitzvah of Yibum, which is a big tikkun for the neshama of the mace. Which way is the world wired? Right? And how can you say, Eil Ve'el Direl Kim Chaim? Is it a pagam, will ruin the world, or is it going to be matak in the world? The answer is, he doesn't say an answer, right? He has it in parentheses in that tshuva, Simon Kuf Tzadi base, right? The answer is that, reality is very multidimensional and super complex, and we could determine reality. We could determine reality, and Lefida, how the Bezdin HaGadol passes that door, HaKadosh is going to rewire reality. That's why Bhaaloscha Saneros, we put a perspective on reality, and we're kovea reality. Right? That's what's amazing. That is what's amazing. Now, you might think having that creative power, you take the power and run with it and do what you want. That's lahagid shvach hashan shaloshina. Right? The shevach of Aaron that, even though there's all this creative power that the Neros Marco symbolizes, because in trusting reality in hand, we only want to work and put a perspective on reality, lefi das Torah. Lefi das Torah. We don't want to take it to make our own, mutant world. We want to try to do the best to be in line with what HaKadosh Baruch Hu would have wanted. Right? That's the Hagid Shvach Shalom Shaloshina. Now with that you go back to this medrash, which is one of many in this week's parsha, that gives the mashal of a guy who's sighted and a guy who's blind. And then finally the sighted guy leads the blind guy into it and says, now you light the candle. Make light for me. Right? Amazing that the Medrash is saying something very, very deep. We have no clue how big what we're doing. Like the blind guy, he doesn't even appreciate the extent of light that he's created when he lights the candle. Like only HaKadosh Baruch Hu could really appreciate what we do. When we are Mechadish Torah, we're like it's not what we're doing. We're involved in something much bigger than what we can understand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu entrusted more power than we could possibly appreciate in our hands. Right? But that's the thing, so the blind man is going to give light to the sighted man, and now the sighted man is going to walk by his light, of the candle he just lit, right? But the guy's got to know, hey, I'm blind, so don't play around, right? So follow the directions that the sighted guy does, gives you of how to bring the match together, otherwise you're going to light the whole house on fire, right? And that's also the tremendous creative power that there is in Torah, and the Torah Sheba'al Peh. Right, we have to be very, very careful. To keep the gedorim of Talmud Torah, to learn in the derech that Chazal gave us. With the Midas Torah dress them, the types of svaros that there are in the Gemaras, the types of kaps to keep very much on the straight and narrow, because we're playing with fire that we can't even see. But that's what the Medrash is so blown away by. That light that's too big for us to see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu entrusted to us, that we should raise it up and be kovea the way he's going to be manig the world. All right, thank you very much.
Great, good.